You ever walk past a building and just feel it? Like, wow, that fits perfectly. And then, of course, you've seen the opposite. A building that feels so out of place, it's like it just crash landed there. So, what's the difference? Well, here's the thing. Behind every truly great building, there's this deep, almost secret understanding of its place in the world. It's not just about what a building is, it's about how it learns to belong.
Okay, so let's dive right into this. We all know architects are brilliant at drawing solutions, right? The gorgeous final plans, the stunning renderings. But what if the real skill, the one we so often just rush right past, is the skill of drawing the problem? What if getting to the heart of a place is the most creative thing you can do? That's the big idea we're going to dig into, based on the amazing work of Edward T. White. So first up, let's talk about what it even means to draw the right question. It's really all about discipline, resisting that itch to start designing before you really, truly understand what you're dealing with. And here's the trap so many designers fall into. There's this anxiety, this need to jump to the answer, to get a building on paper. But that just leads to solutions for questions that were never really asked in the first place. And what you get are buildings that feel, well, generic, disconnected. They're totally ignorant of the surroundings because they ended up solving the wrong problem.
The antidote to all that anxiety is what we call contextual analysis. And just look at the language here. It's not just about maps and property lines. It's about pressures, forces, situations. It's about becoming a kind of detective, uncovering every little thing that pushes and pulls on a piece of land before you even think about putting pencil to paper. And doing that, well, it leads to a pretty radical shift in your thinking. Which brings us to section 2. Let's explore what this whole investigation really uncovers: the site's secret network. So this is how we usually see things, right? Our default setting is to see a construction site as just an inert, passive piece of land. A blank canvas, basically, just sitting there waiting for us to do something to it.
But the whole argument here is that we have to flip that idea completely on its head. A site is never, ever inert. In reality, it's this ongoing, active network of super complex relationships. It's alive with movement, with energy, with history.
So what does this network actually look like? I mean, what are we talking about here? It's made up of all these invisible forces. It's the way shadows move across the ground as the day goes on. It's that little shortcut kids have worn into the grass on their way to school. It's how the rainwater naturally wants to flow, or that one specific view a neighbor loves from their kitchen window. These aren't just little details. They are the site. Okay, so if you have all these forces swirling around, how in the world do you start to make sense of them? That brings us to our next section, the consequence triangle. To get a handle on this whole complex web, the idea is to simplify it down to 3 main actors, or players, that are always in the game. You've got the building itself, the users who are going to interact with it, and the context, that whole living network we were just talking about. And look, their interaction is not a one-way street, not at all. See how the arrows go in every single direction? That's because each one is constantly affecting the others. The context shapes the building, sure, but the building also totally changes the context. The building tells users how to behave, but then the users go and modify the building over time. It's a living, breathing system. And this is the huge takeaway here. A building is an active agent of change. It doesn't just sit there. It will literally reroute the wind, cast new shadows that might kill a neighbor's garden, block a view that's been there for generations, or create a brand new place for people to hang out. An architect's job, their responsibility, extends to all of those consequences, whether they meant for them to happen or not.
So if a site is this crazy, complex, living thing, how do you even begin to read it? That's what we're tackling next in section 4, how to read a site.
The first rule is so simple, but it's everything. You have to actually be there. You just can't understand a place by looking at Google Maps and some surveys. No way. You have to walk it. You got to listen to the sounds, feel the slope of the ground under your feet, see the world from that one specific spot. You have to experience it. And while you're there, you're basically on the lookout for 2 different kinds of information. First, you've got your hard data. This is the stuff that's measurable, non-negotiable. Property lines, zoning laws, where the sewer lines are. But just as important, if not more so, is the soft data. That's the sensory stuff, the human stuff, the ugly view you desperately want to hide, the nice sound of a park nearby, the path people actually use. And this leads to a really fascinating, kind of cool idea. Documentation hardens that soft data. Think about it. The moment you write down, hey, the neighbor's cherished view of the sunset is right through here, that subjective feeling, that soft piece of info, suddenly becomes a hard, objective design constraint. It's now a fact that the project has to deal with.
All right, this all builds up to our final and I think most powerful idea. It's a metaphor, really, for what great design truly is. In our last section, we're talking about weaving buildings into place.
And it turns out the clue was hiding in plain sight the whole time, right in the word context itself. It comes from the Latin word contextus, which literally means to weave together. How perfect is that? It gives us this perfect mental picture for what the job really is. So you see how this just completely reframes the whole process. Architecture is never about creating on a blank slate. It is always an active intervention. When you put a building on a site, you are actively remodeling what's already there. You're adding a new thread to a fabric that already exists.
And once you accept that, once you realize you're remodeling the world, well, the mission becomes crystal clear. It's this profound ethical responsibility. Your goal should always, always be to leave that place, that little piece of the fabric, better and stronger than you found it.
And that right there, that's the goal. A successful building isn't the one that's the loudest or the flashiest. It's the one that thoughtfully weaves itself into that existing network of forces and patterns in human lives, creating something new that feels like it has always, somehow, belonged. So I'll leave you with this, a little challenge. The next time you're walking down the street and you look at a building, any building, try to see it through this lens. Don't just ask, what is it, or who designed it? Ask a much deeper question. What has this building done to its place?